Welcome to my studio. Welcome to Painting Discourse. I'm happy to see you again here during this stream. Today I'm going to be continue on the project that is for my non-profit organization, or rather I should say for a non-profit organization that I'm a part of. This is an experiment for myself and for the kind of idea of what's the difference between that kind of a digital media and contemporary art and concept creators and character designers and whatnot. I just put them into a one group as a kind of a digital media creators, and then we have kind of a traditional medium, and this is a digital medium ideas in a traditional painting setup. So I'm working on the character that is kind of imaginary, kind of set in the real setup. And when I say the real setup, I mean that it has an elements of the real world. That means the chainmail, the cloth, the shields, the swords, and then the armor as a whole. He is actually I want to set him in the environment, so the gravity applies on him and on everything that it's attached to it. So the most important part about this video, about this stream, is that don't just sit and watch it. Please join me with your creative knowledge and passion for creating works of art. Grab your pencil, paper, clay, I don't know, brushes if you work with paint, whether it's oil, watercolor, gouache, tempera, egg tempera, whatever you prefer to work with, and join me, because otherwise this stream will make no sense to you. It's way too I can say it's my stream. It's way too uninteresting and boring to look at, but it serves and helps people to see what the studio looks like and how much work you have to put in if you want to achieve certain things. And especially with the oils, you can't see all the background stuff that is happening before and after the stream, but at least you have idea that it's not just, oh, I just grabbed the brushes and I started to paint. There is one particular thing that I want to mention, so I'm not kind of speaking out of the context. This is how I approach things in my studio. So it's specific to me and me only, how I approach the work, how I deal with certain problems. And I want to show especially problems in these streams. Everybody likes that flashy, nice, finished, polished piece. Yes, but it takes time. And I want to show you what does it mean to create a final painting without cutting corners, without, oh, you can draw this within an hour. Maybe you can, I can't. And there's plenty of examples throughout the history that whether we talk about the Western or Eastern art, it doesn't really matter. It took time to develop to the point that we know it right now. So I don't want to talk too much about stuff that I hope you already know. So let's get right into it. Last time I was working on that chest area right here. I add some random elements there just to make sure that I have enough information for myself, for my eye, and for the viewer as well, about what is happening in this very symmetrical shape that I have here. So I really want to get down to these designing and then incorporating these designs into a composition. And I think that this is the part that I struggle the most, and I believe that most of the other artists deal with this issue as well, that you have something that you like to look at, but somehow it doesn't work in an environment, on top of other things that might go not according to your plans. So I'm really struggling with certain things. I've been working on this behind the scenes, and there are few things that I want to point out immediately that bothers me, and give myself kind of a place to start. I'm just in my head, I'm creating a plan step by step, or I don't know, point by point, what needs to be addressed in order to move forward. So design wise, and this is specific for when you move from that kind of a sketchy, really quick, passionate kind of a moving with the brush around to another stage. And I think this is the most difficult part, when you lose that kind of a freshness and intensity and kind of a impressionistic rawness of the painting, and you get into these dull kind of a I don't want to say paint by number, but really developing things, and things can get really, really uninteresting very quickly. So I'm going to point them out right now immediately. Well, the thing that pops into my head immediately was that big shape, and I'm looking into a mirror reflection. You can't really see me, but maybe you can. Yeah. So I'm looking at that mirror reflection, and for those of you who work digitally, just flip the canvas board that you're working on. And for those of you who work with paint, just, you know, you should have at least a little mirror. I have mirrors all over the place in order to see this from different angles. So I'm looking at the mirror reflection, and I saw yesterday immediately the problem with the chest, because it was a big area that really popped right into my head. So I was looking right here, because first it was a center of composition. It's still wet a little bit. It was the center of the composition, and it had really just generic shape that didn't fit to anything. That is it was just random. I still do not like folds. I'm gonna get to them, and they're causing me a lot of pain, a lot of trouble, because I'm trying to create the folds that they are different than the rest of the painting, because they're from different materials. And that might be the problem with the textures that I'm struggling with. Not necessarily because, you know, every one of us know how to draw the very simple kind of a generic folds. The question here for me is that I'm creating generic folds that I'm trying to adjust, first of all, to not be generic, and second, to have the feeling of a cloth over the armor that he's wearing, and I want to have a different hue, still want it to be harmonized, and on top of it I want to show the volume, and the most important, and I went from the least important to the most important, to fit into the composition within its shape. So there is so many things to tackle at once. So I'm trying to go step by step, not only for you because you're watching it, but also for myself, so I don't get lost in the process. And that's something to really pay attention to. Do yourself a favor. If you have a process that you trust and you believe in, whenever you venture out, you know, on some kind of exploration with the paint, and you should do, or any medium for that matter, and you should definitely do it, then you have some backup plans for how to fix it. And I wouldn't even call it backup plan, I will call it Control Z. So I have to go back and undo things that I experimented with. So that being said, I see right now that I moved from the previous kind of ideas. I wanted to have this all the way here, and it was kind of covering. It was like that kind of a piece of that cloth that was covering that lower portion of the body. I moved it a little bit away from the initial idea. I made it a little smaller, a little thinner, which created this triangle right here that is just, I can't even look at it. It's really bad. It's really uninteresting. And the problem is that I kind of created a repetition that is really annoying, and I'm pointing this out all the time when I talk about the composition, that I have this size, and I'm just going to use the charcoal, so I hope hopefully you will be able to see it. So I have this, that it's almost the same width and size as this, and then it goes all the way here, and it's repeating itself in such a because when I look on this part, so I have this kind of a diamond shape that I'm creating here, then I have a triangle that is symmetrical, and then I have another triangular shape right here, and they are occupying the space, and they're repeating each other. I am okay with the repetition when it's supposed to help the composition and the symmetry with it, but right now it's not helping to anything and anybody. It's more than anything, it's annoying, and this was still wet paint. So there you go. Maybe shouldn't go there with that. So I need to address these things, and when you look into your own work, or let's just stick with my painting particularly, I see another just generic form right here. This is very generic, and it's kind of, I don't know, I'm repeating the same shape over and over and over again, and I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, I'll just move this a little bit. And you can see I have the guy here, Rembrandt, who really knows his stuff, and when you open the book, or look through his paintings and through his work, he doesn't do it. Everything moves and flows and changes, and this is something that I really need to correct right now. And this is that mid part of the painting, the most tedious, the longest of them all, but equally important as the beginning, and equally important as the final touches, as the highlights and signing the work, right? So the problem is with this middle stage that it takes 20, 30, 50 times longer than the beginning stage and the final touches. It's that I remember this from English as a second language classes. Obviously, English is my not first language. Anyway, I don't want to go on a tangent. But I remember that in English as a second language class, or lessons that I received, was that you have the beginning stage that you're picking things very quickly because you're excited, it's fresh, it's new, there are phrases, and you can say hi, hello, and so on and so forth. And then you hit the wall, that intermediate level to lower advanced level, which is about really studying words, grammar, and so on and so forth. And that's a tedious work. You really have to put yourself into it, and you have to study. There is nothing other than just pure kind of a studying mode that will help you. There is no other way around that. Same goes for, and then practice, of course, and repeating that over and over again. Same goes for this middle part of the painting. So yeah. So and then I know it sounds really sad. Don't worry, it's not sad. I just know how much work it is, and sometimes it's just I don't want to say that I'm not motivated to continue, but I feel like there is no end to this tunnel. But it is, I promise you it is. You will get to the finish, and I will get to the finish to this, one way or another. Either it's going to be that I paint it and it's going to be cool, or I'll just, I don't know, destroy it. That's it. Or repainted it rather. I'm not going to destroy anything, I'm just going to repaint that. So let's really look at that composition, which bothers me enormously right now. And then, you know, it might have another problems. This shape might be okay in terms of proportions and positions when it comes to a overall likability. I don't know if that's the proper word. Believability of that this is a human, right? So I can't really starting to change and shift things rapidly, but what I can do, I can work with what I have, and that's I have a shield in front of it. I have a textures that I can use. It's a different material, and since I don't have exact light source set, like, you know, you might see this in a traditional atelier setup. Which was really funny for me when I approached that classical French atelier kind of a painting or drawing, that everything was lit with the light bulb on the top right here, it was the reason was that, you know, there is it's kind of a controlled light situation where you can really dive deep into understanding of how the forms move, how the form wrap around, where are the edges, the terminator edges, the difference between light and dark. Unfortunately, in real life, or, you know, outside of the atelier, we don't have that light bulb that it's, you know, still following us with a nice angle. Things are changing and moving, and I like to have that here. I don't want it to be like a generic one light source painting. So I'm going to take the artistic license, and I'm just going to move and push things around the way that I like them to be, to help me to represent depth. So so I might just add a shadow right here, maybe this direction. I don't know, like how would it be? Maybe like so, to add a shadow there. So I will break that, and again, you can't make this up. I hit it exactly in the middle, so I would divide these two in the exact halves. Again, I don't know why is it that when I'm trying to, you know, find the midpoint, but if I should take the midpoint right here, I wouldn't be able to find it as successfully as I hit it right here. And not only that, I hit it also with the horizontal line previously. So this is how much are we set up in our minds, and our brain forces us to do everything exactly the same, because it's easier for brain to interpret these things. So this should be lessons for all of you who are watching this. Be aware, if anything, just be aware of that this is happening, because it's very, very important to keep in mind. So that will be, when it comes to composition, there will be one thing that I want to show three-dimensional. Pieces of charcoal. Okay, so I want to show that this shield, it's front of the armor, and the armor is behind the belt and behind the cloth, and all of this, it's front of the arm. So as it is right now, it seems like arm is it's touching the thigh or the side of the body, and I want it to be behind, right? Why? Because if I put it next to each other like so, it's going to flatten the picture. It's going to be everything. It's on the when I stand from the profile, everything is on the one line, right? So everything is it has an equal value horizontally. So I specifically also I could have him like this as in art community, digital art community, you do these turnarounds. So you would like this and then the profile. I didn't want it to put him so. I didn't want him to be the same position but from the side. I wanted to give him a little bit more of that kind of a natural feel to it. So if I have the shield, I'm holding it here, and maybe I have my sword this way because I'm relaxing my arm. So I'm trying to push that hand behind to create the depth on the Z axis. So if I have an axis, you have the classic Y and X, and then the Z is for the sculptors, it's in the depth, but I like to use it as well. So this is the most protrude part, of course with the hand, right? And everything is behind it. So as it goes into distance, into depth, it should be less destructive for the eye, so it should have less information. And what do I mean by that, less information? I think of that as something that recedes into the background. That means that the values are closer to each other, the edges are softer, and I have overlaps. So that's another thing that I should use. And same goes for this little piece. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but there is a little piece of that belt that it's hanging, because you can see those on these belts for the knights. And even today, that you create like a little excuse me, a little kind of a knot there that secures it from undoing itself, right? So I have this on the same direction as the cloth, that are kind of blending together, which again, instead of creating three-dimensional feel, it kind of flattens it out just by that, proximity, the position for that. So I have to work with that. That really bothers me a lot, and I'm out of the frame. I know, I'm sorry, but I just need to see the painting in its entirety in order to judge these things. And then I go to a mirror, and I'm again looking for the mirror, whether or not it causes that much of a problem. So perhaps I should put all this into shadow. So what if I'm just, I don't think that this will work. Maybe this way, right here. And maybe I could put it so something is like so. So there will be a little, or maybe, yeah, maybe I just push it this way. Maybe that will help. So I want to create a little bit more of the interest. So perhaps I put all this into a shadow. That means that it's automatically going to recede into background. I should put a shadow right here as well then. And you can see, and then again, I did this and I'm looking at that and I hit like this line continues here. Sometimes you want to have it. Right now, I don't want it. So I have to change the position for that. So I'm checking the visions here. I'm checking the placement here. I'm checking the placement. I'm checking the placement on every horizontal, on every vertical, and on diagonals, how it is going to land and what is going to intersect, because these are, for a viewer, these are implied lines that are very, very important when it comes to a traditional composition ideas. So I hope that you have your drawings and paintings out and sculptures, and you're searching for these repetitions and correcting it alongside with me. And then I feel like the whole bottom part should probably go darker. And the reason why I'm saying it is that I have this dark value of a background juxtaposed with a light value of the figure. So automatically this goes out. And this happens to be the focal point as it is right now, because there is an enormous amount of contrast happening right here. Then the second one would be the shield that's really sticking out right now. But the problem that I see is right now that the shield, it's fighting for attention here. So I should probably unite it a little bit and maybe push it a little darker. And it would help also to create that this is the area where light is hitting us the most. And it's probably not that it's hitting us the most, but when we are looking where the sun, or actually the direction of the light is coming, so it's hitting first here, then here, and then the farthest away from the sun are our feet. When it comes to thinking about, from like a really a technical point of view, but we are also used to looking at this area the most. I don't think that you see people talking to you and looking at your feet unless you have specific shoes on. They're kind of, pointing the attention down. So I should probably incorporate this more into a background, and probably, and I still want to keep it there because I kind of like the division, but I would have to do something with that background. But it works there. I really like it there. Well, we'll try it out. So maybe I'll just dry brush a darker value all the way here, so I bring more attention here, because right now it's kind of dividing equally. So that will be another step. And then I need to really work with this side arm, with a left arm. And I think I have to increase the thickness of the when I say increase, I mean really increase the thickness of that chainmail. And then maybe I could drop, there is a shadow that's going to be here, then maybe I can do a little shadow right here, sliver of the shadow right here, and then a little bit here. and a tiny bit here, and here as well. Because when I say shadow, I mean cast shadow. So this is casting a shadow. So this should be in the shadow as well. So this should go a little darker. And then maybe it could be catching a little bit of here. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. Maybe. Maybe. Maybe somewhere here. And the reason why I'm doing it is because I want to show that there's a actually a foot right here, right? There is a knee, there's a leg, there is a boots. I don't know where they're starting, probably here somewhere. The boot, and it's going down, right? So I want to show that there. And then I have the knee, so it's probably, and this is again the tangent, so I need to find the way how to show it here, and then it goes up into body. So that's probably where my not probably, that's where my leg is, and I would like to show it. So I'm gonna probably create a halftone right here that will kind of contour that leg, a right leg, which would again give me kind of a nice variation between this is a little darker, this then go lighter, and then it just as it's shifting behind, because the leg is kind of like this is the top plane, and that's the plane that goes away from the light. But then, yeah, I think that might work. I think that might work. That might work. I'm just checking if it's in the right position right now, if the size of the roughly one quarter. So I'll have and I'll make the little lighter values here. This can go underneath a sliver of the light there. I think that might work. So I'm slowly, you see, like from these generic parts that were just, just kind of working, but not really. I'm trying to get a little bit more of that. And this should, the hand is going to be darker as well. And it would be probably easier to do this with in the Photoshop, right? Where you can just, darken the certain areas and lighten them. And that's why digital media are a little bit more preferred, not a little bit more, they're way more preferred than the traditional these days for creating quick sketches. It's just, it's not because it's cheating, it's because it saves time and I can produce more, or I can see my mistakes or realize that I'm making mistakes faster than without it. So yeah, I'll just push this darker, and then maybe I'll push this little lighter right here. Like I'll make like a lighter sliver. So it again turning towards us. But when I said lighter, probably it's going to stay the same value. I'm just going to darken that existing part. So that will be that. Okay, and what next? I'll really have to push this out. Or this little bit in, but I'm afraid that if I put it in, his arm is going to look way too skinny. So these are the corrections. I hope that you are able to see them. Yep. I'm looking and I'm adjusting. I am analyzing, or I should say maybe the better evaluating, perhaps that would be the word. Evaluating these adjustments. Okay, so yep. I kind of feel that I really want to push it towards the outside. I'm not sure if that's the Well, we'll see. Maybe I need to probably sketch a couple more of these things, but I think it's going to be okay. By just using some references that I have here. I just have a feeling that this is going back this way. And I can make this darker, straightening it up, and then make it darker here as well. And then darken this part as well. Because it's in the back, and then push that. Yeah, that might work. That might work. And then play with this a little bit. Maybe maybe suggest this a little bit, that it's going this direction, the cloth part. Maybe make this darker. Here a little bit more. And I'm trying to create these interesting things with by using cast shadows and form shadows and things that we can see from underneath. Because this is overall, this is a mesh, right? This is the chainmail, so I should be able to see parts of this underneath. So this is where the cross would be. It's the same cross, the repetition of the same cross. Perhaps that would, and maybe even incorporate this and push it into background. We don't need to see it that much. And then again, bring just this part up, and then that's it, I think. That would help. Let's see, let's see. And you can see how much time I spent with just going back and forth and being unsure what to do. And I wouldn't even say that I'm not unsure. I'm making sure that these are right decisions. And the reason is that some of you saw my previous videos and streams, and you know how, excuse me, annoyed I was with these just rush decisions that set me back a couple days. So let's think of that. And I want to kind of mix the background color. I'm pretty sure I was using a pretty sure, I'm not sure, but I think that I was using ivory black and some kind of a red hue. And I think this is it. And I want to introduce that background color there. And the reason why I want to introduce the background color, I want to unify that with the background a little bit. I want to flatten the shadows so they don't look that as developed as a form on my light side is. And I'm just dry brushing it right now on the top. And this would be one of my favorite techniques to paint. Dry brush, and then or scambling and glazing rather. That will be that's probably a little bit more, not a little bit more, that's probably accurate. And the reason why I add a little little more red into ivory black is because I want to keep that black, which is really, really dark blue hue, from being blue and cool, very, very cool. I want to keep it a little bit more warmish, as the underpainting is. For those of you who are asking, why is he doing that with the black? So I'm trying to create a little bit more drama with these darker values. And also, I'm trying to create a something that is a little bit more pleasing to look at, and it's compositionally working. And the scamble, it's not just placing the pigment so heavily that you don't see anything underneath that. I'm just trying to, as I mentioned, I was looking at the Rembrandt, I opened it and I saw immediately that there are parts that are just dissolving into background, and they're kind of being a background and kind of a unifying element. So let's see if we can. And you can hear me saying we. That means that I hope that, again, I'm repeating myself, and it's going to get really annoying. That means that I hope that you are also struggling with me. I'm dropping that shadow there. I'm getting rid of that excess So what I was thinking about and doing with that charcoal, I'm doing right now with the paint, and you're asking, why didn't you do it immediately with the paint? Because it's easier for me to wipe the charcoal from the surface than the paint. Especially when I'm trying to scamble. That's the only reason. And you can also see and understand why I don't buy expensive brushes, because I destroy them. Not purposely, by any means, but it's just okay. Not purposely, it's just the It's a technique that it's very brush demanding. So you can see how is it changing right now. It's you can see it's starting to take shape a little bit more. I'm going to introduce a little bit of the darkness into the shadows, but it's really just a like a placeholder for that. And I shouldn't have done that, because right now I just, not on this side at least, because I don't want to get confused between the fabrics. Feeling of fabric. Yeah, I think this is working. Let me just introduce a little bit of medium right now, because I want to paint a little bit. Adding a little bit more of a contrast down there. And it might seem a little too much right now, I know, but that's just because the other things around were not adjusted accordingly. Push it a little. I'm just trying to make the distinction right now, and I don't think you can see it on the screen, but there is a difference in temperature between those darks. I have a warmer dark and I have a cooler dark, and I'm trying to create a little bit of interest in the shadow, but I don't want to break that simplicity of the shadow and flatness. So I am using the same value, different temperature to achieve that. And again, standing back and evaluating, and I see that the shoulder needs to go bigger. But it's working way better right now. Okay, let me just... I'm making the shoulder a little bigger. Let's see if it's... I think it might work. I think it might work. Yeah, I think this works a little better. find it. What did I? Looking for a specific, never mind. Let's do this one. Another thing that really bothers me right now is the hand. It seems that it's not developed enough. So I might be working on that a little bit. Let's see. Trying to create that kind of feel of chainmail abstractly more than anything else right now, but this is way too warm, so let's try a little bit of slowly but surely, I might be able to create that feeling of chainmail. And it, for some reason, it still feels like this is a way too big of a gap. I'm adjusting that a little bit. I want to show the difference between cloth and okay. I'm making sure that I have a solid understanding of what's happening right now, right here with that shoulder. Let me see if I can find a better reference for myself. see. Hmm. Let me see, let me see. I'm thinking, well, what I'm looking for right now, or I'm trying to understand, it's how to make the bend with that chainmail. And I'm asking myself, should I just, follow the principle of a cloth that kind of, the folds and the idea? Perhaps. Because that's a part of the design that let me I want to correct that cloth a little bit. Especially these super dark areas that I created yesterday. They feel out of place. And not mean out of place, they just doesn't, it doesn't seem right. It looks too dark right now. So I don't mind it in this area right here, but some kind of a lightening it up a little bit. So I have a clear distinction between the yeah, I think it's better right now when it's a little lighter. And the reason is because I want to go lighter in light areas. Yep. raised. And I'm doing what I said, that I want to show that little bit underneath that chainmail that it has. Okay, I'm trying to bring that leather value and the transitions. I'm softening a transitions a little bit, because I felt that they're too harsh and they're taking too much of the attention. So Okay, slowly. I'm trying to turn that form. Because I wanted to work on the head, I have to work on the forearm. In order for me to work on the forearm, I have to work on the upper half of upper arm, and if I work on that, I need to work on the shoulder, and then I need to work simultaneously at the side that it's part of the torso, because it's almost touching, and then because they share the same edge. The inside of the arm and outside of the torso are sharing the same edge, so I have to work on both simultaneously, and that's something that needs to be addressed. Let me see. This is going there. This is here. Let's see if I can use a little darker value right here. A little bit of that neutral. And I'm really just doing little adjustments. But they should be meaningful. So I want you to be able to see a little bit of detail, but I don't want you to I don't want it to overpower everything else that is happening there. This needs to be a little darker. Darker value, because there is a... And what I'm doing right now, I'm correcting my yesterday mistakes. I'm softening. I am correcting edges. They were way too... My form edges are way too sharp, and they kind of feel like those are not form edges, but the form edges on describing the form, but they look like the sharp cast edge. Hard cast edge, and it kind of breaking that it's flattening. That's what I was trying to say. So I have to push this darker, and I'm trying to unify them because they're like all over the place with different values and different temperatures. I don't know if you can see it, but they are. Trust me on that. I can see it. So I should go. And I know that this looks like a details, but I have to disagree about this. That these are not details. I just need to make sure that I have a clear distinction between a arm and a torso. And the reason is because I won't be able to evaluate this properly unless I'm able to see it. Okay. Maybe I could use this brush. Okay, a little bit more light probably should be on this area right here because I want to show that rib cage that is facing a This is exactly what I was talking about. This is really a slow process where I am searching little, little darker. It's too much. Just keep the chroma a little bit higher up. I feel like there's a too much of too many folds. I remember that kind of a cool quote from the movie Amadeus, when they said that it's great, but it has too many notes. So this is exactly the moment that I feel that it has too many folds. I still want them there, but I want to make it a little bit less. And I'm scumbling right now on the top of the already existing layer. The only reason is that I want to make it a little lighter and create, not even lighter, I want to create like interest within the shapes that are there. And then I should probably push the armor here a little bit more. Trying to create a little bit of more interesting shapes within the shapes, but what I'm really looking for is that I want to lighten, I want to make this value right here a little lighter, so it just, so it doesn't feel misplaced. Because even though it has a darker hue, you might say, you know, what I wanted to say, it has a darker local color. It's still facing, this facing the let's introduce a little bit more of that texture there. So it's going to be like, it's going to have more contrast. I think I pushed this a little too hard here, so let's correct it a little bit. And you can see, like, I'm jumping from the cloth to chainmail, and probably I'm going to hit the helmet as well right now, only because I'm trying to unify these things and unify them. I'm trying to unify them according to a laws of light. Would that be a thing? So it's starting to look like a chainmail a little bit more, I think, step by step. I think this might work actually. Let's see. Just a little bit of that different texture there. So let's hit it with a little bit of that saturation where that cross supposed to be. So it's very close in value. But you can still see it because of the saturation. So I'll pump it up a little bit more. And the reason why I'm hitting the saturation a little higher on the cross is because we just pay attention to shiny objects a little bit more. That's what the saturation comes in to place. areas right here. So it has top plane, side plane, and then there is a shadow, cast shadow. This was a little too pronounced. Okay. Okay, I'm creating that chainmail kind of a feel to it, and it's slowly starting to show up. And I get a little carried away with it, so I'm sorry about that, and I just got quiet and in the zone of just having fun, not really caring about the world. And it's because I am just experimenting, exploring how far I can push it before it get really, really, I don't want to say ugly, but cheesy. It's already, and the problem is that it's already a cheesy subject, right? So I have to be very careful with I have to be very careful if I want to make it cool. This is very annoying part. Or annoying, it's not annoying, it's just the fact that I don't have this edge defined properly. clean my brush because I want to have a little lighter. Okay, this was sort of a really, really. What if I put this into a darker value? Let's see. Okay. And right now this part needs to be addressed. So let's get right into it. Softer edge. Lost edge. Okay, slowly creating that fabric there, the folds. And this is something that I started yesterday, and I didn't finish it, and kind of, I think I just got annoyed by the fact that I was not able to finish it. And I should probably make this darker. Let's get this. Let's get this here, the other fold. Maybe I should. Soften this. Excuse me. It's going this way. And I will have another fold going this way. Still doesn't look good. It's not designed correctly. I have too much of the repetition and I don't know how to deal with that. But, you know, I'm searching for the answers. And the reason is that I should probably use a real cloth and not trying to just, you know, wing it. Again, a little bit of scumbling on the top, just to lighten this area. Yep. me work a little bit on this bottom part right here, because that seems like something that because I want to unify it. Visually, I want to unify that part. And I'm kind of tired of these folds, and probably I will drape myself into that kind of a outfit and just work from life. It seems like that's something that might actually help. So I'm trying to right now to adjust that bottom part and kind of connect it with the rest of the chainmail, so it doesn't look like random piece of cloth, but it has a same kind of textural idea. A little lighter, I guess, and maybe I should push it. Okay, let's see how does it look, how does it feel. I don't know if you can see it, but I can definitely see the change, and I can see also these little kind of a chainmail bits. Starting to look okay. So probably probably it's time to start focusing on other parts of the painting, and that would be probably placed properly, that cross that it's on the shield. Right now this seems a little out of place, so maybe I should correct this a little bit. And going to put a little bit more emphasis here. Okay. So again, so I have that feeling of chainmail. Let me just grab a little bit of that background color one more time. And get into this. So it doesn't seem, because that edge was a little too generic. It's a little too generic, and right now I want to make sure that I have a same goes for this. Same goes for this. I don't want to have just it's like a, I don't know what to use, uninteresting, but that I just don't want to have generic edge there. So I want to make sure that you see that throughout the whole width of that through whole width of the figure. That's the chainmail. There is no, you know, it doesn't switch towards the different kind of a material. Sure that this is properly sealed there. Yeah, and I still have a feeling that he looks little big, but that was a. I just don't want to make him skinnier, because then it wouldn't feel that he has that kind of a thick layer of chainmail on him. Because truly, you know, I know that we are used to seeing in the movies, you know, that kind of a cool shape. Of a muscular body underneath the chainmail, but in reality it was just, it flattened everything, and I'm just trying to find some no, this is going way too forward. Let's see. Probably this should be a darker value here, all the way here. Okay, and maybe I should push a little lighter here. Because I want to show that it's curving or going away from us. So this is lighter, a little lighter. A little bit more of the saturation. Yeah, I think this works. I would have to just think of some kind of a and I'm looking into, I'm out of the frame, but I am looking into a mirror, the mirror reflection. This is working right now. Okay, so I think this is a. Let me see if I can push this a little lighter, a little bit more chromatic. feather value here. This way. And then perhaps a little piece right here. And then here. And here, I want to show the top plane of that belt, and perhaps I could show the side plane right here. It emerges from the I'll have to think of that, what to do there. Maybe I should put a little more of that. I'm adjusting that belt a little bit. I'm not even adjusting, I'm giving him a little bit more of that kind of a three-dimensional feel to it. So it will feel a little better. And then at this point, I'm looking at it, I have to go back to a helmet, sword, and boots, and start pushing them a little bit more defined, since I pushed that overall chainmail towards the detail more. So that will be probably next order of business, I should say. Let me move this little lower. So I'm still thinking about what to do with that helmet in terms of those eye sockets, because I would like to maybe not leave them dark, or maybe do a little, like there's a sliver of face visible there. I don't want to say that you can see him, see his eyes, but kind of. I'm just trying to find some details into your helmet right now. I feel like since I pushed that, and that's very important lesson for those of you who were painting alongside with me, that I mentioned this multiple times, that there is a even lighter. There is a moment when certain things are going to look finished compared to other parts. So I pushed this a lot, I pushed this, so I need to work on the helmet a little bit. And I shouldn't work on the helmet, I should work on the hand, but I want to work on the helmet, so I'm doing it. I want to bring a little bit more of that resolution to it. So I want to add a couple details. From the reference picture, of course, because I don't have this helmet. I wish I do. It should be bigger. Okay, a little bit more detail. For the helmet, these are the bends that they were used to put them there for, I believe, breathing purposes, or if it was hot there, I don't know, ventilation kind of a thing. All of the above. speaking, so they don't, people hear them speak or talk. I don't really know. I'm not sure. I'm trying to make sure that that the helmet still feels metallic. And I think I can afford to go even a little darker in places like this. Let's see. It might be a little too dark. this can go all darker. So I can drop the value there. I want to create a little bit more of that feeling of the roundness. I want it to be a little bit more volumetric. So I'm pushing it a little darker there. It can go still darker even more, but should probably push this a little bit. So it has that feeling of, then maybe a little border value here. Actually warmer temperature, same value. Yep. So it has a little bit more of that rounded kind of a feel to it. There's the edge of the helmet. Cool. And I need it. Light right here. And a little bit here. Okay. So it's hopefully starting to feel more like a metal. And I might give a little more of that treatment to a, right now when I see this, I might get a similar treatment to a chainmail. Perhaps there are going to be places where there is a little sliver of light hitting it, just for the sake of making it a little bit more interesting. And I think that shoulder should be a little bit more here. Okay, so that's something that I need to correct. This is way too light. It's breaking form. It's just, it feels like it's going in the back and then sticking out in the back again. And I want that nice continuous kind of a feel to it. I just don't want to make it dark, like it's in the shadow. I just want to make sure that it is darker than it is right now. So let me see. Okay, slowly but surely we're getting there. I think we're getting there. Right now the very important part is going to be the hand, because that's kind of a secondary focal point that I want to show. So yeah, I think that I'm gonna stop here right now for today. Because I've been looking at this for a long time. I can't really judge it. I can't really judge it objectively. So yeah, I just want to make sure that those of you guys who work alongside with me understand the importance of overall composition and designing things within the composition. If I had no, I don't even know how to put this. Creating a character or designing a character in oil paint, it's difficult because of the materials that you're using. So try to think of your work in terms of how effective I am with the materials that I'm using, and how the approach that how the materials that I chose, how are they affecting the overall project. I wanted something with the presence. I wanted a large size, and I wanted to be a traditional and classical. In the oils, I could have used digital medium. It didn't really fit to the idea, so I chose oil paint. It's probably one of the most challenging mediums to use with, but then also the result can be a little bit more impactful. So think of this, and I hope to see you soon again. Take care. Bye.